Hello and welcome back to the Stormreach Marketplace, staring up at the starry sky. You'll have seen maybe that I'm not at the promised level 28. I thought I'd just sneak an extra little one in here because I've seen in one of Terry's videos recently you had to go at the this one here, is it the Market Barracks or something, the Demon or Devil Assault, I can never remember which one it is. And this build lends itself particularly well to that, with the mixture of survival and AoE it's got. I can remember a long time ago, the first purple series I did with the tank Warlock. I think I was higher level than this when I tried it. I guess, what is it? It's a level 21 on Epic, isn't it? So it would be 23 on Reaper. So we're more or less at level. Little bit to tell you in passing. Feat for 24 I took Intensify, so that's gone on all four of our SLAs that we're using at the moment, using and abusing. In fact, it's gone on everything, because with the amount of spell points we've got at the moment, we're using it as well nicely on Tempest and Tentacles too. So we've got a decent amount of damage going on there. What else have I got? We did the Spinner on Reaper 1. Not too bad at all, to be honest. Again, with the defences that we have, we were able to stand more or less toe to toe with her and eventually make her go away. And the ticking aura, which is giving, I think we're around 70 con with the rage on and in Reaper, so it's giving about 140 temp hit points every time it pulses. So that was awesome in the Belly of the Beast quest against that annoying acid damage. From what I'd remembered, the floaty Warlock, you know, with this celestial spirit thing, didn't take the acid damage, but they must have changed it. You don't float above the acid, you get hit by it now. But as fast as it was ticking away against us, we were also healing it back in the form of these temp hit points. So that did really nicely in that quest. The other thing that did very well, yet again, was the absolute zero against those purple worms, even purple worm crown. Absolute demon, that just shut them down completely. Really nice to have. I mean, any kind of nasty red crown boss like a Hezro or something like that, just immediate silencing. Can't speak highly enough of this thing. I know it's on a long cooldown, and so it should be, because it goes through Death Ward. I'm just wondering, on this note, have any of you actually tried a DC Warlock at the cap? I'd be interested to hear from somebody who has, your experiences. Did you have fun with it? Were there bits in which it was lacking? Because I'm looking at the Soul Eater tree, and I'm seeing that you could potentially have 4 instant kills, couldn't you? An SLA and a spell version of Finger of Death. Then there's that Devour the Soul thing for the Soul Eater capstone. And there's also the Trap the Soul, of course. And then if you go with this one, with the Cold Pact, you've also got that Absolute Zero, which is effectively an instant kill, isn't it? So that would be 5. I know there is an instant kill, the Power Word kill, as part of the Acid Pact, isn't it? But that's on a stupidly long cooldown. I think that's about 3 minutes or something ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, this thing effectively does the same, and it's on 25 second cooldown, so go figure. I mean, that's sort of rendered useless by the length of that cooldown, in my opinion. But yeah, if any of you have given it a go, I'd be interested to hear of your experiences, because it's not something I've tried. My warlocking was more or less like done TRing. I didn't have the gear or the inclination at the time to stay at the cap and give it a go, and the rare times I tried, I got my ass well and truly kicked with a blaster warlock with pretty low DCs. like in the 70s, just not to paint you a picture. What else have we got here? No, I think that's about it. Nothing changing on the gear or anything like that. So let's go ahead, get stuck in, and see how we fare. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm not putting any higher than Reaper 1. I think we're about at the right. Yeah, 23. So we're one level above the level of the quest. That's not that bad.
Huddle at their barricades. The stench of brimstone permeates the air. Guttural chanting echoes from beyond the door ahead.
To remember to keep the rage going.
Slivers of black metal sprout from the passageways flanking this room.
And there's plenty of time in this one, isn't there, in between waves to recover, should we need to do so.
The portals of Shavarath flare with activity.
Set up a bit of a killing field in the middle here. Now that's another good thing with all this time that we're being given in between the waves. Our big AoEs will conveniently be available again. So these, I think it's these first two waves in particular. If I'd had anything about me, I would have left that soul and taken it later when I'd run the mana down a bit. But yeah, these two are going to be recovered by the time they come rushing in again, so they're going to get the same again. I'll maybe lead with the ice storm just to put a bit of a slow effect in the middle. It's probably surplus to requirement, but I quite like it. Reminds me of my druid days. And the two together is really good because the tentacles ties them into the middle area, and then the tempest just keeps ticking. And one thing I hadn't mentioned, what hadn't I mentioned, if they'll leave me alone for a second. Yes, the tempest, it has an initial DC check, but if they continue to stay in the area, they just get pinged for the damage with no save, which makes that very interesting for our build.
Open it quick.
Trying just to get by with the shining through. If I had the... Oh, hang on. I'm gonna say if I had the weapon to trigger the temporary hit points with the rage mechanic, I would be doing that before the start of each wave too. But we don't have that. We are still abusing the shard storm bug, however. Does anybody know if that's been a thing for a long time, or it's something that's literally just come to my notice? I always thought you needed to take the this tier 3 thing here to get the temp hit point thing. Oh, hello.
You're really good at this.
Are they going to start to come in ones and twos now? No, not quite yet. I made a real mess of that. Lost a truckload of health and failed to cast 2 different spells because the target had gone down the side of the I'm guessing we're going to have to kill you, otherwise your little pals won't spawn. Yeah, that was abysmal. That, and there was a big crown in there, probably the reason we lost a ton of health. And I didn't do anything about it. Should have had the absolute zero on that straight away. 'Cause they do take some beating down, those big devil things. I think we'll see quite a few yellow numbers in here as well. They have some decent resistances, don't they? Trying not to repeat the mistake with the failed AoEs. Trap the Soul incidentally needs a special spell ingredient. You can get it from the general vendor in Canith. Is it the general? No, I think it's the scroll vendor in Canith. These Kyber Dragon Shards. They're not particularly cheap, but it's a lot of fun to have. And it goes against a will save, so against big bulky things like the Hezro, it's pretty effective. So on the lower difficulty we can see that we're able to outlast most of the stuff that it's throwing at us in the middle. If this was to have been Reaper 4, I would guess that the incoming damage would somewhat outstrip our temp hit points. Failed on the instant kill there on the Finger of Death. The incoming damage would outstrip the temp hit points and we'd find ourselves having to use the old heals a lot more. The Rages, as mentioned, do regenerate once every 90 seconds from the last enhancement in the last core in the bottom of the tree. I should have tried now. I must try absolute zero against one of these fiery things. I want to know if there's a. I don't think there is any kind of a roll that takes place. So I think against proper fire creatures, it does do what it's supposed to, just delete them without a save, which is again nice for our situation that we'll have at the cap. I guess particularly so if we ever do the Temple of Evil Fire node. On his own. Come on, you guys, get in here. Nice. Right, let's go. Let's go, 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 go. Now that's what happened there. It froze him, but it didn't. It certainly didn't delete him, did it? What happened? He was a fire creature, wasn't he? Did he? Maybe it did allow a save, and he saved, so it was frozen instead. I didn't quite see what happened. I'll have to look the recording for that. I trapped the soul working very nicely. Web still has its place there. You can't see that it's gone down, but I can assure you I just placed a web in the middle of all that. Oh crikey, look at the spell points. We might even need to rest. I'm quite surprised at that.
Amazing.
I guess I'm where I could be just doing the 2 spell point thing, I'm throwing in all sorts of fancy instant kill things, and that's what's adding up and costing us. The cold focus should really help us against this thing. Keep the Nyax going. Yeah, we melted that, didn't we?
You feel the battle may allow you a moment's rest.
Yeah,
and time
I
to
think
loot
I'm
the
gonna go
bodies.
ahead and do that
Now's a
actually.
good time to take a breather.
Better safe than sorry. So that's the first time we've really even made a dent in the spell point pool, although it's the first time as well I'm going in with Intensify on any kind of a long quest. So we've just added, I mean, some of these things now. What are these costing? Yeah, these are 80 mana a time, so it's soon gonna stack up, isn't it? And there's no need to be maximising and intensifying some of the stuff. 78 points for Ice Storm, which does basically no damage against this lot. So I should be using the stuff a bit more judiciously, but let's have a bit of fun with it, eh? I think when we get to the cap we'll be in the Sentinel mantle, so we'll have no source of temporary spell points. We can use one or two of the spell storing rings, get around it a little bit that way, but you kind of need a moment or two to be able to use them in between times. So if you're under siege, it's not ideal. Now I would suggest this pause is a little bit excessive, game. Just a little bit.
The savage war cries of Shavarat's devil armies issue forth from the portals. Enemy reinforcements have arrived.
Okay, so we're not doing the snowstorm then. Just the big things. Oh, that was silly. I moved as I was casting the ice thing. It has a long old wind up, and because I moved out of the range of the opponent, nothing happened. Failed again on Finger of Death. That's not doing so well, is it? Still, to have any kind of DC thing going on a Constitution build. I mean, where are we? We're decent on con, but the charisma 56 in sort of mid-epic. That's, for the main stat, that's average at best, we'll say. And also we could have better gear to help the DC side of things. So to be making reasonable use, like Trap the Soul's doing well, and the ice thing as well, the absolute zero. I guess it's because they're going on a will save, and the finger is the fortitude, isn't it?
How did that even happen?
Oh, that failed. Not good. We're making a bit of a mess of this, aren't we?
You're really good at this.
Really good. No, I'm making an absolute cock-up of it. In an ideal world, all these nasty little single targets would be eliminated with our single target insta-kills, but we're beginning to find a limit to our DCs, aren't we? Things are saving. So we're making a bit heavy weather of it. If they'll just do us a favour and come at us in 1s and 2s, that will be just perfect. It's a bit better. Now I'm guessing if I leave that thing there, the next lot are just not going to spawn. Save the beggars. Yeah, that's me being stupid. Of course the wizard's going to have a high will save, isn't he? I should have gone after him with Finger of Death. Let's think a bit more about what we're doing here. That's more like it. Finger of Death on the weedy ones. And will that one work against you? Yeah, okay. And trap the soul against the big things, like you. Beautiful. Yes, now we're rolling. Send some more wimpy things, I'm ready for them. Here to catch them all. Yes, now we've got it. It's only taken me like 2/3 of the quest to engage brain. Lovely. Oops, wrong key. I meant to do that one. Again, he dodged out of my area. That was a mess. Oh.
As the wave of devils ebbs, a leader of Shavarath steps through the portal to engage.
Can you get rid of those annoying archers? Almost. Now what is he fire based? No, he's not. He's not taking much from the cold at all, is he? Right, let's just unload everything we've got on him and then we'll rest again at the shrine. No regard for mana. Might take a while, but I think we're going to get him. How many health does he have? Oh, it's not telling me how many he started with. Okay, so heavy weather, what we got there? Yeah, oh, look at the mana.
A nice quiet moment for me to work on the story of your adventure.
Now, as mentioned, I could have totally, it would have taken longer, but I could have totally just sat there, used the 2 bursts and the almost nothing carrion swarm, and gone about it that way. And I'm sure we could have prevailed because I could have had heals and the shining through where needed. But that would have been a cup of coffee and a sandwich job, I think. Forum reading suggests that's what some people used to do, just press auto attack if they were playing at a high level. When they got to the boss, press auto attack, go and get a drink, park yourself in a place they knew the opponents couldn't reach, and then just go and have some light refreshments while the boss got slowly ticked down. Never ceases to amaze me how resourceful the player base is at finding these unreachable spots against the bosses so that the squishy characters don't need a tank to play with. Yeah, the pause between 3 and 4 and 4 and 5 is the most excessive in here, isn't it? I think we could have had 3 rests in the time it's giving. Now then, fire creatures. Oh, they're almost all dead. No. Oh, lovely. Could you have one of those? You could. Beautiful. So keep it in mind. Trap the soul to the big ones. Finger of death to the little ones. And ice for the crowns. The absolute zero is also a will save, so that would go better against the big Orthon types as well, I think. Oh, that was a lovely start. He saved against my soul! You little bugger. They're not liking the cold element of our blast, are they? Definitely not. Let's try the... oh, it's on cooldown. I still want to try the deletion aspect against these things. Lovely. Oh, not so lovely. Wrong key, I shouldn't have done that. That was will save against supposedly high will opponent. Now then, let's try this. It didn't delete. It's no, so they are. Well, these fire creatures at least are getting a save, aren't they? Making a mess of this. Sentient gem, somewhat over enthusiastic. I think that's going to be, what is it in the weapon at the cap? I think it's a black razor, which fits the build quite nicely, slamming into the middle of groups of things. A feast of souls. So yeah, maybe the wiki's right. The wiki was saying there's a bug with that that absolute zero, and it is allowing saves for the fire creatures, and that looks to be the case, doesn't it? That was a finger of death. So you can see that when we have to beat something down, it's taking us a long old while to do it with damage. But if we are able to use the instant kill side of things, now fire creature, we should do alright against this. Although no, he's very resistant, isn't he, to the cold, I can see. So that's not good. And we've no way, that's something else we don't have on the build, any way to make the target more vulnerable to our damage, so that's a shame. There's nothing I can see. Light is taking normal from. So we are having to use a little bit of heal there where he's going into our... Have to keep an eye on the damn spell points as well. I think I'm going to have to start toning back what I'm doing here. So the light is the most damaging anyway, and that's our blast, so that's not a bad thing. I'll stop doing the cold because that's doing little or nothing to him. What about force? Yeah, force is good, so I'll keep going with that. He's immune to half of the little acid and poison things. He's immune to the poison, isn't he, which is quite normal, but they cost almost nothing. And one of them is giving me health too. So I'm not putting the temp hit points here, but you can see, broadly speaking, the ticking aura is keeping us up, supplemented with the odd bit of health, the odd bit of positive healing. And since I stopped throwing all the spells around, I think you can say I've hardly lost any mana. In fact, I might even have gained. Okay. Not pretty, but I think that's the watchword of this build: outlast the buggers, and we certainly did that. As mentioned previously, I'm pretty sure the normal version of this quest gives more, or is more likely to give more tokens of the 12 than any other difficulty, and I think that's borne out there. We haven't found one yet, have we? I think we're only going to get maybe one in the epic chest. Did we get one at all? 1.5, okay. I think you can sometimes get 2 on the normal version. And the normal version is obviously significantly less taxing to run. Okay, well, not too terrible. I think there's a lesson there as well on spell point management to be had, and also on targeting of the instant kill spells, which I could take on board. Well, that's one thing that I've found and still find to be, well, it's a bit of a challenge to start with, like with the elements, you know, finding what elements things are vulnerable to and what they, like wisps and that thing that vulnerable to force but immune to acid and electric, I think, that kind of thing. Same with the instant kills, but it's more simple there. The target the beefy things with the will save ones, so for us that would be the freezing absolute zero and the trap the soul, and the weaker ones, the casters and the archers with the finger of death, and you can't go far wrong. Ours are just a bit low generally on the DC side, but we're still getting some joy, and it's nice when you get success, when you start off and you start throwing anything at anything and you get a lot of fails, and then suddenly you start targeting the appropriate things and more success comes, and you start thinking, yeah, I'm onto a good thing here. So I quite like that aspect of it. Whether I could manage to juggle around 5 separate instant kill things with one of these tuned Warlock builds at the cap, I don't know, but I would like to give it a try one day. So please chime in the comments if it's something you've tried, whether you enjoyed it, and yeah, would like to hear from you on that score. As regards this one, I thought we did okay there. That's definitely at least a couple of levels lower than Purple was when he tried it in that very first recording, albeit he does have a serious amount of extra life, so I suppose it kind of equals out. I think there was a lot that could have been improved upon, but given that I didn't make an amazing job of it, I think it just says more about the strength of the build, because we never came remotely close to dying, did we? So that's nice too. So maybe that's selling the build for me as well. Okay, now as promised, I will get back to the leveling job, and I'll see you again at 28. Thanks very much as always for looking, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care.